FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros.
Intimidating group over there, huh? We continue to learn from the pros, presented by FullTiltPoker.net. I am Chris Rose, and time once again for our roundtable discussion, where four great pros have joined Howard Lederer here on the felt. Starting off with a two-time World Series of Poker bracelet holder, Jennifer Harman. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you again.
Thanks.
Phil Ivey has 5 pieces of hardware to his name, including 3 back in 2002. What's going on, big fella?
What's up, my man?
It's all good.
I see that.
Chris Ferguson, big winner back in 2000, also has 5 bracelets. How you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
And finally, Layne Flack, 5 bracelets. Every time I see you, though, you keep complaining about the 2 you didn't get.
That's not complaining.
Yeah, he's an unlucky guy.
Is that what it comes down to? All right, you know what, guys?
It's not a complaint.
On this show, we focus a lot on all-in tournament play. But look, there's people playing in their home games, or sometimes they'll step up to the table with you guys. You got to know when to quit. Do you guys put out limits on yourself when you say, okay, I've hit that mark, good, I'm walking, Chris?
No, I really don't. You want to play, as long as you're playing your best game, you want to keep playing, and as long as the game's good, you want to keep playing. I think a lot of people, what happens to them is they start to lose money, and actually, after they start to lose money, they actually start playing worse because they get frustrated. And that's when a common mistake they make is to play too long. You want to quit when you're playing poorly. So actually, if you want to do anything, you want to have a stop once you've lost so much money. That's when you should quit. But that's not what most people do. And that's
right. And what happens when you start to lose? Okay, guys thinking, yeah, it looks like I'm beat, but he's losing.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just steaming, and you know, so there's that little bit of doubt, and as long as the doubt's there, you aren't going to get.
Yeah, that's a
fold.
big mistake people make, is they quit too early when they're winning, and when they're losing, they stay and play all night.
In order to get that credibility back.
That's a recipe for disaster. A lot of the best poker players in the world end up going broke because of that.
I mean, a good player knows he can gain that credibility back, but you're going to have to go through an X amount of hours of gaining your credibility and your table image back, and then the hours of using that to your ability. So right there is twice as long you have to sit at the table just with that alone.
But does that happen to you? You guys are the best poker players in the entire world. I can't believe that you can't say, you know what, I can get it back.
As far as that, I'm probably the big one. That I play when I'm losing. I have a lot of determination to get my money back, and sometimes it backfires. And you know, I end up losing more than I want to lose in a night, and that's probably one of my biggest weaknesses. You know, I mean, but you know, again, when I'm winning, I make up for it, because when I'm winning, I play 30.
Get out the way.
I play 30, 36 hours. You know, if necessary.
30 to 36 hours?
I mean, I've played longer.
Is if you're winning, other people are losing in the game. Right. So they're going to play a lot worse against you, and you have such an unbelievable table image that you can take total advantage of that bluff. So many pots because they think, oh, he's got it again, and they'll throw their hands away because they're already defeated.
If you've never had to turn a hand over for a long time, well, you got a lot of power at that table. I mean, people have no idea what you're doing, and you just keep abusing that and abusing that and abusing
Plus,
that.
a lot of poker is so mental too. Like sometimes when you're winning, you just feel like you just can't lose. You just know some nights you're just not going to lose, and the other times you sit down and you start losing a couple of pots, you just feel like, man, it's going to be tough to win tonight. So you know, a lot of poker is mental, and I just feel like sometimes you kind of could after you play a long period of time, you've been playing poker as long as we have, you know when it's time to quit.
All of this is judgment, though, and I think one of the things that can really devastate a player is when you're doubting your sort of decision process about whether you should have continued to play or not. And I think that if away from the table, in the cool and calm of, like, you know, a day off, or you're just at your house, okay, you know, tonight I'm going to play this game, and you set down some rules ahead of time, then you're not sitting at the table going, oh, should I keep playing? Should I? If you've just laid down some rules, then when it's time to walk away, it's time to walk away, and then you don't have to beat yourself up later. God, I shouldn't have played. I should have played. You know, you just stick to the rules, and it's just so much easier on you.
What's your threshold?
You don't want to know what his threshold is.
My threshold, yeah, I do actually.
It entails 500 also.
When my box is empty and I can't borrow anymore. No, I mean, it depends. Just
It depends.
You know,
it depends on how I'm feeling. You know, I mean, like sometimes I'm in a mood to play a long time, sometimes I'm not.
For beginners, you just have to remember that you can quit loser. A lot of people just have a hard time quitting loser. That you can come back tomorrow and the same game's going to be there, and probably for the next 2-3 years. It's a lifelong game. Don't think of, you know, each individual night as an individual night.
It doesn't matter when you play your next hand. It could be tomorrow or next week.
Unless you got to go home and face that wife that says, no, you're not going back. You lost yesterday. You know, right there, you're forced to win. You know, that's when you got to have the talk before you step outside.
But statistically speaking, your next hand is your next hand. And if it's in 5 minutes when you've just taken a big loss.
I want to put that on TV, that Layne's got to step up to the plate to get married. He has a wonderful girlfriend.
All right, unfortunately, yeah, tune into Dr. Phil next week to see if Layne Flack does get married. Guys, I am going to get up from the table. Unfortunately, we have to close the discussion. As always, great job. Pleasure seeing all of you again.
To learn, chat, and play with the pros, go where they live. FullTiltPoker.com.